Hello, so this is Ikin Anochukwu. Based on the article, these are my two deep learning questions. So the first says, how do deep learning systems amplify ethical dilemmas in computing, particularly in terms of bias and accountability? And what responsibilities do developers have in mitigating these issues? So this is my response. So I personally think that deep learning system, which relies on vast data set and complex algorithm to make predictions or decisions, can amplify ethical dilemmas in computing by perpetuating bias embedded in their training data, often without explicit human oversight. The article from Berzai highlights how ethical problems like privacy invasion and discrimination arise in computing, and deep learning intensifies this concern because its decision-making process are often opaque even to developers. So, for instance, a model trained on biased historical data might unfairly deny opportunities to certain group, raising questions of accountability. Should the blame lie in data, the algorithm, or the human who developed it? So I personally think that developers should bear a significant responsibility to mitigate these issues by actively seeking diverse data set, implementing fairness checks, and designing systems that allow for transparency and human intervention. This requires not just technical expertise, but a proactive ethical stance promoting reflection on how much of the burden should fall on individual versus organization or regulatory bodies. So I personally think that when making decisions, that they should simplify and amplify their competing skills. They should be biased in their decision making. Okay, so they should be biased and accountable for each decision they make. They should not say, "Oh, it's the fault of the computer or the program which was created." No, so it personally should be the fault of the developer who developed that software. And the next question is, in what ways might the pursuit of efficiency in deep learning conflict with ethical principles such as fairness and consent, and how should society balance these trade-offs? So, personally, the pursuit of efficiency in deep learning often prioritize speed, accuracy, and scalability, which can clash with ethical principles like fairness, consent, as outlined in the article. For example, optimizing a deep learning model for efficiency might involve using massive dataset scrap from the internet without explicit user consent, raising privacy concerns, or streamlining processes that inadvertently favor certain demographic, often over others, undermining fairness. So, what I'm trying to say in perspective is, when making deep learning perspective, we should be fair. Okay, we should not just collect data online, because the data we see online is different from the person, like the individual itself. So our data should be fair, and we should also have the consent of the individuals whose data we are taking out from. We should not just look online, oh, this is what they are saying, this is what they are saying, no, and then we drag a conclusion. No. So we should have some ethical differential. Okay, we should make things different, and when we should be honest in our dealings. I think that's my response to these questions. Thank you so much, and do have a great day. Bye bye.